Hi there, and welcome back to yet another episode of Teen Take. I'm your host Kavya Bhardwaj, and before we begin this very interesting episode, to say the least, this is our first ever podcast episode that we'll be uploading on YouTube. So you can not only listen to us on Spotify, but now all most of our episodes that we'll be uploading now should be available on YouTube as well. So that's just great. And, anyways, I'm sure you've heard that there's a lot that's been going on in the United States of America. And if you haven't, then, well, you've come to the right place to understand and get to know about the situation that's going on right now. And it's been a little too chaotic lately. And there are so many events just happening that this one particular individual is doing, and we're going to be debriefing all about it today.
Keep me rocking on the same line. When we get high, in my breakdown. We're just watching from the same time. But that don't change.
To start off, let's talk about what just went down in Venezuela. On January 3rd, the world woke up to the news that the US launched Operation Absolute Resolve. To make it simplified, US Special Forces literally flew to Caracas at 2 a.m., bombed air defenses, and captured President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores. They were flown to New York to face quote unquote narco terrorism charges. Now, you'll see videos of people in Florida and even pockets in Caracas celebrating. Why? Because many feel Maduro's 12-year rule was a nightmare of hyperinflation and repression for the country. For them, this is liberation. But let's look underneath. Is this genuinely about drugs? The US claims Maduro leads the cartel of the suns, but the UN doesn't even label Venezuela as a major producer. In terms of the philosophy, politics, and economics perspective, we know this as the petrodollar. Venezuela has 300 billion barrels of oil. That's 17% of the world's supply. Maduro is moving that oil to China and Russia, bypassing the US dollar. So by kidnapping the leader, US isn't just fighting drugs, they're actually reclaiming the world's gas station to ensure the dollar stays number one throughout. While South America is burning, the US is looking north. Suddenly, Greenland is back in the news. How did this even come up? Trump has redoubled his 2019 push to buy the island from Denmark. He's even threatening 25% tariffs on Danish goods if they don't sell. So, why now, you may ask? Climate change. As the ice melts, new shipping routes open up, and trillions of dollars in rare earth materials, the stuff we need for, iPhones and EVs, are becoming reachable. Currently, China has a monopoly of these minerals. The US isn't just buying ice, they're buying a fortress to block Russia and China from the Arctic. This feels crazy, right? But guess what? This has happened before. In 1867, the US bought Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. At the time, people called this the quote unquote Seward's Folly. They thought it was a useless box of ice. But look at the similarity. The US bought Alaska to kick Russia out of North America and secure the Pacific Rim. Today, they want Greenland to do the exact same thing in the Arctic. It's a strategy of strategic depth. The philosophy here is realpolitik. The belief that morality doesn't matter as much as power and geography. They don't want to help the world, they want to own the entire map. And if Venezuela and Greenland weren't enough, look at Iran. The US just recently has moved 15 F 15s and a carrier strike force into the region. It feels like we're minutes away from a total blowout. The US is pushing a quote unquote board of peace for Gaza, which is, you could say, a club where you have to pay $1 billion for a permanent seat. And this is a pay to play model of diplomacy. And Iran is the only major player in the region refusing to join the board. And the last time Iran tried to trade oil in their local currency, the US ramped up military pressure. It's the same pattern we saw in Venezuela. If you threaten the dollar's dominance, you get a visit from the US military. FBI, open up! Anyways, let me summarize this in the PPE style, the philosophy, politics, and economics style. Let's connect the dots because all of these things that are happening aren't just random events, but it's rather one big strategy. In economic terms, this is called protectionism. This can be seen in Greenland when they were using tariffs to force a land sale. In political theory, it's called hedge money, using military force to protect a currency. This can be seen in not just Venezuela, but also in Iran. And the philosophy aspect, that's the ethics of hedge money. Is it actually okay to destabilize a region if it keeps your own economy on top? The US has a deep insecurity. They see the world shifting from a multipolar system where China and India have more power, and they're refusing to dumb down. They would rather bomb a trading partner than let the dollar lose its value. This, anyways, is our first video on the Team Take YouTube channel, and we're just getting started. So if you want to see how these dots continue to connect, stay tuned for the next episode. I hope you understood, this whole chain of events. And anyways, I'm Kavya Bharadwaj, and don't forget to share this episode with your friends and your family to make them more aware of this chaotic world that we live in. See you soon.